Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to our town council meeting for February the 6th, 2019. And we get all rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I can thank everybody for being here. And I'd like to start off with a roll call.
Mike McLaughlin here.
Debbie Cobb here.
Marty Lisenby here.
Paul Edwardson here.
And Denny Bass is actually excused. He's off playing around somewhere in California, I think. And so we'd like to excuse him. It's not on the agenda here, but happy birthday's in order, Jen Prentice. Just want to say happy birthday. Planning Commission members, and it was her birthday yesterday.
29.
Yes.
39 forever.
And so I'll start off with the mayor's update, kind of give you guys a few things that have been going on. I considered it one of my best mayor weeks last week. I did one of my usual phone calls to UDOT. I wanted to talk to them about the speed limits in a couple of areas, Apple Valley proper and out by Cedar Point, that section right there where there's a lot of traffic, cross traffic on the highway. And I was pleasantly surprised to learn that at that time we did have those speed limit signs out there, and they asked me, "Did you see some speed limit signs show up out there?" I says, "Oh yes, I did." "Well, are those yours?" I said. And he says, "Yeah, we put those out there because we're getting ready to post slower speeds, and then we'll change those signs to the slower speeds, and they're going to change it to 55. And they're they've ordered the flashing radar, automatic built-in permanent ones for both ends of those speed zones. So about 1.2 miles is the speed zone that's going to get lowered. And so if you were coming this direction from Hurricane, it's going to happen before the post office area for that turn lane that turns onto Apple Valley Way. That'll be where the first one starts, and it ends just past the storage units out there. That's about where it'll end. And it also starts there if you're coming this direction. So that'll be one speed zone. And then when you go out to Cedar Point, just as you reach that first left turn, that's where it's going to start, and it ends just past where the big green building is. If you turn left up to Bubbling Wells, it's just past that, as well as where that will end. And so those are going to have flashing radar kind of signs along with a 55-mile zone. And I've decided that we're also going to, as soon as those signs are in, I'm going to order up signs that say zero tolerance speed zone. And we'll put those on there as well. And we're going to just try to slow that traffic down for those intersections, and I think that will make it a little bit safer for all the residents out there. So hopefully you guys are as excited as I was about it.
Well, I'm going to chime in too, because there were people that said, "Oh, it almost takes an act of God to get those speed limits lowered in here."
It's an act of Marty.
An act of Marty within, yeah.
Yeah, I was told that they've been working on that for 10 years,
Yeah.
and I was bowled over. I really didn't think I'd get it accomplished, but I'm just thrilled that they listened to me. I guess I said it the right way in that meeting, and I've been bugging them a little bit about it in a nice way, but I'm just excited to see how it happened. So I hope you guys are excited with me, and I hope it makes a difference. And at this point, when we put a zero tolerance speed zone in there, we can set up have that be the place that the highway patrol or sheriff goes to help enforce that learning curve of you better slow down or else. So,
Thank you.
Good job.
thanks.
Good deal.
Website is up and running. If you haven't had a chance to visit it yet, it's kind of fun, where you can go in there and do a search and find what you're looking for. The coding for our ordinances is on track to be a mid-February launch date, so probably another week or so, all of the code will be on there as well. But for right now, finding information. When you go to the home page, on the bottom of it, there's a menu. It just says, one of the items, the first item on there, says agenda and minutes. And so if you're one that likes to follow what's going on, you click on that and it's gonna take you right to what's currently scheduled for meetings in this current month and year. And you can click on the agenda like that. You can click on the YouTube video the next day, and the meeting will be on YouTube, and it'll be filtered in there. The sound files, I've got to get on that. I meant to get with Michelle, and I'm going to get those recorded minutes on for at least the last year as well. But you can go back for meeting minutes and agendas probably back a year, and you just find the date you're looking for, and that information is so accessible, and I'm real proud of it because of the transparency. I want everybody to know that you can find the information, and it's so much easier than it ever has been. And so take a look at that if you haven't. It is going to remain a .gov, by the way, so it is just the same addresses we've had before. And steering committee, first one coming up was for people who live in the Bubbly Wills area. We've sent out a letter to you, and those people that are affected in that area will get a letter suggesting that they go to our website with a address, and there's a form online that we're asking them to fill out. Just a questionnaire. It's probably about a dozen questions or so about how they view their area and what they like it to be looking like. And we're asking these questions because we want feedback. Everybody wants paved roads, let's pave them. If everybody doesn't want paved roads, we don't have to worry about that anymore. And so we're asking those kind of questions so we can get some feedback from those people that live in that area, and specifically, we'll graph it out and kind of take a look at what their wants and needs are. On that letter, it also says there's a scheduled meeting for the 19th. That'll be here at the town office. Invite all of those people in here to voice any concerns or ideas that they have. And so we're going to be starting that steering committee where we can kind of get some feedback from them, any change that they want to see, things that we're doing that they don't like, whatever it is, we want to hear about it. So that'll happen on February 19th here at the town offices at 6 p.m. Natural gas for Apple Valley. I don't remember if I mentioned that last week or not. It will be heading our way. It'll start off in some of the new subdivisions or developments that are on paper right now, that are on the books for possible consideration. They will be the first to hook up to that, and that'll kind of like kickstart where we can start bringing in natural gas to the residents. It'll mostly, just like I say, start in those new subdivisions, but this is something we can retro to anybody's house. And so at some point, I mean, this isn't going to happen next month or anything. This is be a process we're beginning now, and over the years, as neighbors want to. In other words, if we get a neighborhood or Gooseberry gets together and says we all want natural gas, then we can get the price tag and figure out what it takes to get it over there and pencil it out for everybody to see what makes sense. So we'll be working on that, just so you know. I want to talk about for the roads for a minute. I think I'm going to save this one for just a minute. All right, let's get back to the agenda. I'm going to wrap up the mayor's update. I'll bring this other stuff to your attention here in a minute on one of these items that factors in. So let's go to item number 2, discussion and action on ordinance 0-2019-01, approval of planning commission recommendations on zone change from OST/OSC to RE1 for Miles Mark Development, parcel AB 1319A. Anybody have any questions about that?
I move to make a motion that we approve the action on ordinance 0-219-01, approval of planning commission recommendation on zone change from OST/OSC to RE1 for Miles Mark Development Parcel AB-1319-A.
I'll second.
And what vote?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. And item number 3, discussion and action on ordinance 0219-02, approval of planning commission recommendation on zone change for AB 1327. And did anybody have any questions on that one? Any discussion?
Nope.
I'm good.
And let's make a motion on that.
I move to make a motion that we take action on ordinance number 0-219-02, approval of planning commission recommendation for zone change on AB-1327.
I'll second that.
And vote?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Item number 3. Four, excuse me. Item number 4, discussion and action on ordinance 0219-03, approval of planning commission recommendations for zone change on OST/OSC to RE1 for AB 1326, AB 1346, AB 1345, AB 1348A, AB 1348B, AB 1349, AB 1359. Any discussion on that one? That's for Redstone Development.
Any discussion?
Any discussion at all? All right, that's all right.
I move we take action on ordinance 02019-03, approval of planning commission recommended condition for zone change from OST/OSC to RE1 for AB 1326, AB 1346, AB 1345, AB 1348A, AB 1348B, AB 1349, and AB 1359.
Second that?
Vote?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. And number 5. This is discussion and possible action on public works interlocal agreement options with Washington County. And this is what I want to save my other notes for. And that's has to do with roads. We got a phone call from the county. We had cows out on the road. Right around Main Street and SR 59. And actually it was someone who lived here first that called me. I says, I don't think we take care of cattle guards. Those are, usually put in by the rancher. And anyway, it was a few minutes later I got a call from the county and says, yes, you do take care of them. And we actually have a crew right there. Would you mind if we did it for you? I'm like, sure. Why not? And I just figured I was going to get a $300-400 bill for them cleaning out their cattle guard, but it'd be a lot faster since they're sitting right there, and it'd take me time to find Kevin and put a crew together to be able to fix it. And so we just told them to take care of it. And it was that day that I realized that the county, they're helping us out any place they can. No bill, no discussion of the bill, and they just took care of it because they know that we have limited resources. And so further discussions have happened since then. I've had talked to Ron Whitehead. I've talked to Dean, who's head of the, I guess he's the guy that's in the shop that helps direct the people where to go right now. Dean's the guy I was talking to about the cattle guard. And I've had discussions with both of them, and they pretty much have kind of informed me that if it's a road and it's in Apple Valley, it's our responsibility. And he says there's some of them are dedicated roads, some of them are not dedicated, but because they're public byways, it's our responsibility to make sure they're safe and able to travel. And that was confirmed in a meeting I was having with Ron. I kind of went out there and we decided that there's a few roads out there we want to try and improve, Coyote and Bubbling Wells itself. It's such a slippery slide when it's raining up there at Bubbling Wells, and I was approached by, Richard Fisher and Matt Jessup, and they wanted to help haul some cinders up there, and that's when I learned that the BLM, or they take care of the cinder pits out here. You can buy permits for the cinder pits, and as a municipality, they give us the cinders for free. We don't have to pay for them. So why would we not want to have a full-time permit that extends for 5 years, and we use it when we can, we report back to them like they require. And in doing that, we've got the ability to put down cinders on all these roads. That's basically what they put, by the way, on Main Street. It wasn't road-based, it was hauling cinders all the time, and it's made that road so much better where you don't have that slip and slide going on. And so we started on Coyote Road and some of these outlying roads, and including Bubbling Wells, hauling cinders. These are volunteers. We're not spending any money on it. We're allowing them to use the grader and the backhoe in some cases to help level out some of these roads, but they're all volunteer operated. And free cinders out of the cinder pits, going on these roads to help try and make the roads better for everybody. And so it's kind of a cooperative effort with everybody. And when I was talking to Ron Whitehead in his office one day, he says, "Hey, by the way, I got something for you." And he says, "I've got a MOU, Memorandum of Understanding." And I was like, what is that for? And he says, "It's for the Gooseberry Road." And I said, "The Gooseberry Road?" He says, "Yeah, the one that comes off of what you guys call Main Street." And I was surprised at that, because I always thought that was a BLM road. As you know, in this last meeting that we've had a discussion whether or not we can build that project up there on that road because it's off of BLM road. And come to find out, it's not theirs at all, it's ours. And so the county's informed me that, no, that's your road, it's your responsibility to take care of and maintain. And he says it's also, we know that you guys have limited resources, so we like to maintain it for you. And so the memorandum of understanding is that they want to maintain that Gooseberry Road for us. They've gotten a couple of complaints, and they realize it's a tourist destination, and they want that road to be better. And so my conversation ensued that, well, we've got a project that you want to build up there. If I can get them to buy the road base, is that something you guys are willing to put down and help improve? And so we've got a cooperative between the county and a developer to maintain that road. I asked them about the ability to do that because it's going across church property. And they said that there's a settled case law that defines that as a public right-of-way easement. They can't do anything about it, they can't change it. We can't widen the road, we can't improve the road other than the surface of it. We can make it a safer road. If there's hazards, like where we might need to add drainage, we're able to do that as well without any problem as far as legalities as well go. And so kind of takes the problem of the Gooseberry Basin project, not having access. And I like that the county's going to be responsible for maintaining that road as well.
How far up?
As far as it's in our jurisdiction, which would be at least 2, the Gooseberry Basin project, because they're in our jurisdiction. And so they pretty much shouldn't take it up. They'll take it all the way up. They're saying it's not, they have sent a letter off to BLM, say this isn't your road, it's ours. And they haven't argued one bit on it and pushed back at all. And so their plan is to go all the way, probably up to where you have those parking lots. And That's their plan, because if it's not in ours, it's in the county. And it's a win-win for us, because now we get a better road to be able to travel on up there, so. But anyway, this, so this MOU that we have, is just a, interlocal agreement that's in our packet. And, included in this memorandum is, a couple of other roads that they're planning on taking care of, just for information's sake for the public. They're also going to be taking care of Sheep's Bridge Road and, Eagle Crags Road, town of, Virgin. Let's see, Rockville has Big Plains and Eagle Crags Road. So I don't know if that's the road that comes up the hill. I don't know which one
I
it
think
is.
you're talking about Main Street and how it goes down to Grafton and down there.
I wonder if
I
that's
think we're
the,
talking about that
No,
whole
that's not Eagle
section there.
Crags.
sorry?
That's not Eagle Crags.
Eagle Craig goes out of Rockville up to Eagle
Yeah.
Crags, across the bridge.
It goes straight and then it goes the hill.
On the other side of the highway? Or is it on this side? Is it that crummy road that goes down? Is that
Right as you get across the
the
bridge, the old bridge, just
Okay.
go straight, instead of going our way,
Yeah,
take
it
that
goes
way.
up that hill, so
Okay.
straight up.
Okay, all right, so that's just another one, so they're just taking on their responsibility to improve some of those because of the amount of travel. They feel like some of those roads are so hazardous right now, and, you know, I just, I have to tell you, every time I talk to someone from another city, municipality, the county, state, it doesn't matter. I was meeting with some people from UDOT, those guys bend over backwards to do anything and help us that they possibly is in their power. And it's an awesome, week for me as mayor, getting the speed limit changed and the cooperation of UDOT there. Their cooperation today, we had a meeting on some turn lanes out at, Canaan as well, and, just, the county, the way they just, anything that the mayor wants, it seems like they're just like, what can we do to help you?
I want to mention Hilldale.
Hilldale is, another partner in crime on this stuff. I called them up one day, and this is before we started spreading these centers. I called them up one day, talked to Donia, who gave me the city manager, who gave me the public works department in minutes. I was talking to that guy, and he was in his truck driving this way to drive these roads with us. And we drove around some of these roads in Apple Valley, and he's giving us advice on how they would, try to improve some of these things. Then they, handed over their permit, because we didn't have a permit set up with BLM yet, and BLM at that time was closed. And so they brought in permit paperwork and these, what we call load receipts that we have to fill out on each load that we take out of the cinder pits to track it. And, that he was here 2.5 hours driving around with us at Hilldale. No bill, just what can we do to help you? And then a couple of days later, I see this road grader show up out on, Dublin Wells, wasn't ours. They drove out their road grader and they started grading our roads for us to help us out, to improve that road as well. That's from Hilldale as well. And so those, you know, we have this, I don't know what to call it, really a wonderful relationship with Hilldale that's blossoming. These people are, wanting to, they give me information and help. I go out there and talk to, John Barlow, he's their, city manager, and, gives me all types of advice. This guy is a college-educated, city manager, and he understands the, organizational, facets of the town and what can make things work better, and has passed on advice to me, and it's awesome to have these kind of people that are willing to do whatever they can do to help us out because we're neighbors. It's pretty cool.
It's actually a win-win for the county too, because, you know, our chief moneymaker here is tourism. And if those bikers can get out to the locations faster and cleaner cars, whatever,
Yeah.
more power to them, so it's a great deal.
So we're gonna try and work on the realignment of Main Street, for example, and the state has already been out there with their drone, flying that area over there with their drone, which gives them the, you know, topographical maps and all that, so they can put that on a drawing board. They can take that electronically from the drone into the drawing board, computer program, and start drafting that realignment of Main Street. And So that's been done. Hilldale has said, when you need to move some dirt, let us know. We'll send some heavy equipment over there to help you do it. And so they're anxious to help do that as well, because they want to see Main Street paved, because that's an economic impact for all of us. Whenever that road finally does go in, it's gonna be jobs for anybody that lives here, because they need people desperately up at Springdale, but it's so far to drive from anywhere. We'd be the closest people that would actually be able to have some of those jobs, and so some people that maybe are looking for jobs, that could be a quick way to get there. And that's how, between the tourism and the jobs, that's what Hilldale and even myself see Main Street paved as providing to all of us. So, anyway, that's the long way around saying that we have a memorandum of understanding that's on the table that we'd like to take a vote on, that everybody agrees that I could sign this and pass it back to the county. Any questions from anybody? And you guys have any questions about it? Brian?
That's great.
I'll make a motion that we accept the generosity of the county by signing this resolution number R-2019-2425, which is their resolution number, and accept their hospitality and ability to help us maintain that. This includes Main Street and Gooseberry Mesa Road. Second?
I second the motion.
And vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Motion carries, so we'll get that signed off and back over to the county.
Thank you, county.
And, yeah, I'll tell you what, it's hardly a day goes by I don't meet somebody that's, what can we do to help you guys? So, it's pretty awesome. So consideration on approval of reports and recommendations, appointments, and announcements. Approval of minutes for 12/5 of 2018. Anybody see any changes or any problems on any of that?
No, I read the minutes, they're good with me. I make a motion, we approve the minutes from December 5th, 2018.
Second. Vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Motion carries. Item number 8 is approval of minutes for 12/19/2018.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes for December 19, 2018.
Second?
Vote?
Abstain, I wasn't there.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Motion carries. And item number 9, approval of minutes for 1/2/2019. Go Michelle, she's catching up on minutes.
I make a motion, we accept and approve the minutes for January 2nd, 2019.
Second?
Vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Motion carries. And so the minutes are all approved, and those will get posted right away. And the events committee.
So, 2 Saturdays ago, we had our pet vaccination clinic, and we had a lot of people come in and get their shots, which is great. We sent a reminder notice that, you know, it's not only licensing your dog, you're giving it a GPS tracker, so to speak, if he gets loose, and that is, we can track the dog by the dog license number, and if the dog gets loose and somebody comes and looks up the number, we can tell who it belongs to and get them back home. So that's just something as a pet owner that, you know, it's just one more thing that you can do to show your love for your animals. So, you know, encourage people that if you don't see tags on them, you know, go get them tagged, and then that way we can find them on their way home.
Our next
Next
event
dish.
is gonna be what, Easter?
Easter. We'll do that next time.
Well, that's gonna be fun.
Yes.
Okay, item 11, planning commission, Cynthia Brown, Michael McLaughlin,
Janet Prentice.
anything you wanna bring up?
I'm good, I don't have anything unless Janet has something, so.
Okay. Let's see, all right.
Yeah, so we finished off the 290 advanced fire behavior class last weekend in Bryce Canyon. All 3 people passed that. We still have a bunch more training coming up. We got the Air Ops next week in Cedar City. Then we also have Tim's training, which is traffic incident management training in Hilldale. And that's the 12th and the 19th. We also have the CPR class coming up on March 2nd at 9 a.m. So anybody who's interested in that, contact me and I'll put you on the list. It's going to be free to pretty much everybody. So anybody who wants to be involved in that, you'll be certified and you'll have your card after you're done with that and take your test. So we also, we received our ISO letter. So our ISO rating is gonna stay the same. It's been like a year-long battle to try and keep that ISO rating. So they gave us a letter congratulating us on keeping our ISO rating so it doesn't skyrocket and people lose or raise their insurance on their homes. And also, we've been having a lot of slide-offs lately, so be careful on the roads. I guess we got more weather coming in the next week or so just be careful. That's all I got.
Okay, and thanks for the ISO rating. I know that's represents, countless hours of your time to fill out paperwork and signing things off, getting things signed off, so appreciate your effort on that. Don't have an engineer here. Let's see, Harold Merritt's not here. Code enforcement, Richard Sosky, you got anything you want to bring up?
Yeah, basically, some dog problems, rounded up some steers, some buildings that are possibly out of code. The steers were a little rough. In that case, we're gonna have to, I believe, contact the attorney because it's come to a point now where a code enforcer possibly can't enter onto somebody's property. The liability there, and also if a code enforcer doesn't enter into somebody's property and see a violation, possibly it won't hold water if we carry it any farther. As far as a letter going out, that will probably be the possibility, and also a code enforcer going into some property can also have false accusations. I don't want to have any dogs signed on me or shot through the front door, so it's probably a best idea I don't. A letter can go out at the time informing the individual along with the policy that they're violating, and they can throw the letter away, that's fine. And then a registered letter goes out. They don't have to sign for the registered letter because I know you can go to the post office and look at it and deny it. A lawyer or Apple Valley. But even if you deny the letter, I looked that up, you as accepted the letter. The liability of the town is sending the letter. If you don't want to take it, you're still just as liable as you had accepted it because you sent it out after a certain amount of time. I think the attorney should set up a policy or the parameters of a code enforcer as to what their authority really is. Because now we're getting into a deeper situation. I've stopped by the sheriff's office because there was some thievery and informed the sheriff of it, and that was a little iffy there. I'll probably end up at the sheriff's office again within the next week just explaining or giving him some reports that were sent in. So it's gonna look like we need to really look into this a little deeper. So if the mayor has anything to add to that, he's more than welcome.
No, but I do. If there's any situation, ever situation where you feel like you don't want to go alone to a person, maybe you've had hostile interaction with this person before and you need to contact him, you can always get a standby from the deputy whose only function is to keep the peace while you're doing whatever you do.
I'll mention that to the sheriff when I see him.
Yep.
And see if we could possibly, and then that'll be to the, Sean's thing too, to say, okay, get a deputy, have him back you up if I need to go onto the property. But in most cases, it's just to inform the individual that there is a violation.
Well, I'll chime in here a little bit, as our policy's kind of been that, let's try to be neighbors and talk about it. And we've had a couple of complaints from people for even walking on the property, because we're walking on there to tell them that there's a problem, and of course, they don't want to hear there's a problem. And so, following up with our attorneys, said that, mentioned there's issues they've run into in St. George for that, and they went as far as to say that there was a code enforcer that was on someone's driveway checking the registration on a vehicle, and when it went to court, it got dismissed because it was really, think about it, illegal search or seizure of information, or in other words, they gathered the information without a warrant on someone's personal property. And so at the point that we're walking on someone's property to verify some type of code violation, or, you know, maybe a structure behind the house, and we're in a position where that could be not only trespassing, but also fall into that category where we're illegally obtaining this information because we don't have a warrant to obtain that information. So to honor the public's right to privacy, I think that we have to just stop walking on the property. He went as far as to say that now if the neighbor that's next door that made the complaint invites you onto their property, so you can look over the fence, take a telephoto lens over the fence and take a photograph, he says that's okay. Just don't let the lens go over the fence line. I mean, this is how critical these guys are right now. It's just don't let the lens even go over there. So anyway, so it's just kind of a new policy that's come to pass this last day or so that's come to light. Yeah.
Tish Linsby, 1386 North Mount Zion Drive. As a business owner in St. George, what they do if you're in violation of an ordinance is they take photographs of the violation. They send you a letter citing the ordinance that you're violating. They give you 30 days to reconcile the violation, or they come back for a re-inspection and they give you a citation. That's how St. George handles ordinance violations.
Well, I guess actually Hurricane as well. We've got a violation on the RV storage park
Right.
on lighting, and that's how they did it as well. They didn't trespass at all. They just
Right.
sent us a letter saying, well, they mentioned it in person too, but anyway, so that's just probably food for thought. That's how we'll have to do it, is we'll send letters out. And I'm not necessarily in favor of a certified letter first time out, because half the time as people get a certified letter, they know that's one they don't want to pick up, kind of a thing. So, any comments?
Chief.
Yeah, fire chief, sorry.
So, in the fire service, I know we can call people and, like, say you're doing a VRBO at your place, we can actually call and say, hey, I wanna re-inspect your building, what day is good for you? I mean, that might be an option too, giving these people a call, seeing as how they're community members, try and talk to them. on the phone.
If we can find a number or something.
Yeah.
That was always our preference anyways, is to talk to people, because half
Yeah.
the time we thought we could just mention that they're in violation, and half the time people don't even know they're in violation. And, in our experience, most are willing to try to figure out a solution once they see that they're against, one of our ordinances. So, but anyway, this is a new area for us. We'll be, having further discussions with our attorney to, help, identify any ways that we can improve that, and, be honoring of, everyone's right to privacy, at the same time enforcement of the code as well. So we'll try and find that balance. Any other comments? Let's see. All right, I don't think there's anything going on with mosquitoes.
Everything's frozen.
Everything's frozen, so.
They didn't have a
Mosquitoes
meeting.
are frozen.
They haven't had a meeting, it's not till the end of the month.
Mosquitoes?
Yeah, they're all frozen. They're trying to get out, but they can't.
Do any of you have anything you want to bring up? Or, you have anything to bring up? Okay. So let's move on to public comments. We'll, I move that we open up the meeting for public comments.
I second it.
Vote.
Aye.
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 Anybody have anything they want to say?
I told Rich on the phone.
Jerry?
Jerry Jorgensen, 1064 West Wendell Drive. The other day, somebody came by our house, I don't know who it was, and they handed us a sheet that had all the names of all the people in the houses, so you know your neighbors. You seen this sheet?
I haven't.
Said he got it from this office. He said, they said this is for the Gooseberry area, and he said this way you'll know your neighbors. It has all the houses, it has the names of everybody that lives there, and all that stuff, but if you follow it up, it ends right there. The people in Alaska aren't on there, we're not on there, the other people down here aren't on there, and I said, this isn't a complete map, and he goes, talk to the city, this is what they told me to hand out.
I'll clarify that. I was in the office and helped him
You
out.
did it,
Yeah,
huh?
really nice guy. Just wants to be neighborly. It's all public information that we're providing. Not, we're not doing anything that's providing.
No, I'm not saying that, I'm saying we're not on it, so nobody knows who the hell we are.
Well, I knew that you guys wouldn't want to be on it. So.
Oh, you did? Really? You think for me now, okay, cool.
No, he wanted Smithsonian Drive, and so that's what came up under Smithsonian. That's why I cut off the top of
Okay.
Gooseberry.
So I have to explain it, we're
Was it
right up
for-
here.
Was it for emergency preparedness or
No,
anything?
just
Or trying to get?
trying to be neighborly. Just
It was
wanted
great.
to get
It
out
was a
and be
great
social.
map. When you know everybody, we can walk around and go, oh, so-and-so lives there, and so we get to know neighbors, we know who lives in a lot of times, we don't know who lives in these houses.
Well,
His name's Dooley,
Yeah.
and he walks his dog first thing in the morning. He's got a big old wolf kind of dog, and he walks it around in the morning. But his name's Dooley.
Okay.
You can get all
Is that Tom Dooley?
Well,
I don't know.
Oh, wait a minute, they hung Tom Dooley.
You're dating yourself.
That's a good song though.
Anybody else?
Oh, now that's right.
Oh, then you never told me where the roads, I don't know where the roads are in Appleby. If you want me to grade some of these roads for you, I don't know where we own or anything, so.
Yeah, we'll have a little discussion about that, but pretty much if it's a road, it can be graded, that's,
So any road?
yeah, I was gonna get ahold of you and see if we can go over some of that.
Yeah,
Show
that's
you
great.
some of these, so. Anybody else have any comments, suggestions, complaints? All right. Make a motion to close public comment.
Second that?
Vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries, and how about,
No close session.
no closed session, adjournment,
I make a motion, we adjourn tonight's meeting.
and
Second that motion?
vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. 4 minutes.